is Jalen Anthony Rose.
What up, though?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
Together, we are Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN2. What is it that we do, Mr. Rose?
We give the people what they want.
Well, it looked like LeBron James wanted some new teammates, and that's exactly what he got. The Cleveland Cavaliers and all of their shiny new toys went into Boston on prime time and took apart the Celtics. They played with energy. Everyone was hitting shots. LeBron was so happy. Jalen, is this a one-game fluke, or is this a much improved Cleveland Cavaliers team?
Oh, I have a lot to unpack for people to run with.
Give
so
it to
get out
us.
your pen and paper and listen up, fans and media types alike. Feel free to modify the words and make them your own. I see it happening a lot. I really appreciate it. With that being said, a couple of things. They've truly parlayed the Kyrie Irving trade legitimately now for the franchise, stabilizing themselves currently by adding the 4 individuals they did, trading off the 6 people that they did, in 3 moves on the trade deadline. First and foremost, they still have their next pick for next year, which is going to be in the lottery. And now you add a bunch of young players who are going to be enthusiastic about running with LeBron James. I talked about this on NBA Countdown. Once you start to become a vet, you start to look at people like your peers. And so Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, Derrick Rose, that's how they see LeBron. They're looking at him. I've accomplished things in my career. I've been an all-star, been an MVP. Like, I'm holding you accountable like you're trying to hold me accountable.
That's fair.
And then you're going to have the young players that they just acquired. Clarkson, Hood, Nance. They're going to look up to LeBron. They're going to be a sponge for what he hopes to get accomplished. They want to learn from him how to win, what it takes to be a really great player on a great team. So that level of enthusiasm becomes infectious. And as you saw, multiple handshakes and smiles as they beat the brakes off the Boston Celtics on their home floor.
There was a noticeable difference in just the attitude and the joy with which LeBron and his former the Cavs play. Like, look at LeBron right here, so happy with Jordan Clarkson hitting threes. And after the game, his voice was all raspy because he was yelling so much from the bench. J.R. Smith was making shots for the first time this entire season. It did seem like a rejuvenated, re-energized team that was, and you'll never believe this, actually playing defense, especially George Hill looked good. It definitely gave me the feelings that perhaps the Cavs are once again the best team in the East. There will be some tests coming up. They play the Thunder. The Thunder put 148 on them. Do you think they can keep this momentum and win against the Thunder?
I think they can keep this momentum. Wouldn't be surprised if they beat the Thunder. You got to give props to the Toronto Raptors, who've been between the first and second seed jockeying over these past couple of weeks. The Boston Celtics have hit a lull. Here's what they have to do, by the way. They have to find a way to turn 2 dimes in a nickel into a quarter. And here's what I mean. They've accumulated some really nice young talent. But when I look at their bigs, I'm like, okay, Horford, I get it. Okay, Morris, he's a vet. And then all of a sudden I look a little deeper. I'm like, oh, they need some more help at that spot.
Yeah, Aaron Baines runs the 40 in like 9 seconds.
And so I think now the plethora of talent they've accumulated on the perimeter with Brown and Tatum and Smart and Rozier, you know that you're going to get Hayward back. I think Danny Ainge, who did a terrific job of trading for Kyrie Irving, trading away the #1 pick overall, has to now parlay those young assets into another all-NBA caliber player. But for them to get beat the way they got beat on the day when Paul Pierce, my brother, congratulations. Great to see that he was going to get his number retired. I appreciate it and like the fact that he was a trending topic, well-deserved all day. And we even did an interview with him, and I asked him, did you get Isaiah Thomas traded so you didn't have to share this day with him? He said, no, LeBron got him traded.
Well, Paul Pierce, as you mentioned, did have his jersey put up in the rafters in a ceremony. It was after the game, which I think they did after the game so he could have more time. You know what I mean? It was pretty long. He brought out the championship trophy. He had a terrible jacket on, in my opinion, but whatever. You know, it was green. I get it. He has to do what he has to do. What did you think of the ceremony and the reunion of the 2008 championship team?
It was well-deserved. It was done tasteful and with class. I appreciated seeing the big ticket and Rondo and Doc Rivers there. So many people was trying to troll the fact that Ray Allen wasn't there, that he had the nerve to be somewhere else playing golf. Again, let that man live. They had their issues. They're seeing eye to eye. It's all good. And so I saw how playing for a great franchise in the Boston Celtics and becoming a Hall of Fame caliber player in Paul Pierce, that level of appreciation was paramount, and I was happy the way it played out, especially on the national stage.
Well, I don't think he's going to get a statue there in Boston, but he certainly got his name in the rafters. Then there's this, Isaiah Thomas. He made his debut for the Lakers. He played really well. He looked re-energized as well. But there's something else that he did that got a little socially awkward. We all have Instagram, especially you now, Jalen. Follow Jalen versus everybody. He cares a lot about that. And if you are on IG and you see lots of videos and highlights, and he just happened to, I don't know, see this post from the NBA account of Kyrie Irving scoring on LeBron James, and what did Isaiah Thomas do? He liked it. Of course he did. And he didn't like it by accident. And he knows that we're going to see that he liked it. He knows that we're going to talk about the fact that he liked it. Why is he doing this subtle, Loki shot at LeBron James?
I just acknowledged it. When you're a vet, you're looking at LeBron like a peer. When you're a youngster trying to find your way in the league, you're looking up to LeBron. So for Isaiah, it's like, wait a minute. I was on the #1 seed last year, including beating your squad for that title. Though I had a hip injury, I came to your squad, I wasn't able to get my rocks off. Now all of a sudden I get traded to another squad, and it seemed like you throwing shade at the people that got moved on. So now I'm going to throw shade back in my own little passive-aggressive way.
What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Finally and quickly, another player who moved on from the Cavaliers. He went back home, and it was Dwayne Wade. And he was announced for the Heat, and he's playing there, and him and Gabrielle Union are back in town, and everything just seems to be so lovey-dovey for him in Miami. He also mentioned that this is his last stop in his career, and that he wants to retire with the Miami Heat. Do you think this is the last season that we'll see Dwayne Wade play?
This is not the last season, and I understand how people mince words. He's basically saying, I shouldn't have left Miami, never should have played for the Bulls, shouldn't have played for the Cavs. When I play more basketball and get checks these next couple of years, it will be in Miami, where they're going to retire my number and give me a statue one day.
It was great to see him in the jersey. It was great to see him back in Miami. It did sort of feel like, Dwayne, you probably should have never left. And we're not going to leave either, because we are not done. When we come back, Blake Griffin intentionally, accidentally threw the ball at Dennis Schroeder. We'll show you after this. Here's one thing that you all need to know about Jalen Rose, who is on television every single day. If you send him free clothes, he wears those clothes. For real. Political statements that he doesn't agree with, teams he doesn't support, people he's never heard of, high school teams from South Dakota. Just send him some gear, size extra large.